first I got my caretaking job, and now I got a trash pickup job, and as you can tell here, what a mess. And this is one of the worst messes I've pretty much ever seen. What do? Well, my job is to clean it all up. Yes, all of this. Way out here even. Yep, this whole area is especially bad. And guess what? I get $10 an hour, and I even get to deal with timesheets for the first time ever. I have a few tools to deal with too, such as a picker-upper, and this bag here has got other bags in it, among Kleenexes, because I got a cold at this moment, or just ending my cold. This is, by the way, May 29 of 2014. I've had this trash pickup job since the late March. Yes, this is a smartphone. I use it for an assortment of things, such as this. This is just my sound recording program that I use. What do I use it for? See that time in the corner there? Yeah, that's 8:25. That's when I start. So, 8:25 start. That's how I log my time. I'll actually probably use 8:26 because I'm recording this video when it's hogging up time, so I'm actually pretty honest when it comes to that kind of thing. So, off to picking up trash. This is gonna be fun, considering how much work I gotta do. I'm now an hour in, which means I now got about $10. Yep, an extra $10 in my pocket that I can use for pretty much whatever I want. In this case, it'll be a good chunk of it will end up going for my fireworks show for this year, so look forward to that. So how much progress have I made? Well, it's kind of hard to see because it's now gotten really dark out, but what used to be trash is now just random brush that I'm throwing off the side so I can get to trash. That odd yellow spot in there is actually a leaf that's yellowed out, not actual trash. The trash line ends right here. Well, it's getting too dark that I can't really see too well or differentiate trash from leaves and stuff like that, such as a black cup lid or something like that from a typical store or fast food restaurant, for example. I need to call it quits. It says 9:52, but because of the time spent recording this video, which has nothing to do with the job, I'm actually going to be deducting accordingly. 9:52 and penalize 9 minutes. Basically, that's kind of what I'm about to do, generally. So, when I go about doing the timesheet, for which you'll see next, you'll see just how I go about doing that. But right now, the exposure is maxed. I can't really see anything what's going on. It's so dark over here. Well, what is this a picture of that I have here? Is this trashy area or is it not? Okay, how about that over there? Is this trash or is that not? Okay, what about this over here? Is that trash or is it not? Kinda hard to tell, is it? On day 2, I have these really big storm clouds coming by. This is just the start of it, at least anyway. And if you pan over here, you can start seeing that they're really getting dark and gloomy. So I'm having to rush ahead of rainstorms and stuff. And as I'm doing that, I'm picking up trash. It don't seem like I've really done anything. Yeah, that's a bunny rabbit over there I just saw zooming by. But this right about there is where I left off. I've done all of this right here. It's roughly about 30 feet. And because I've noticed that there's a sun line right here, thanks to this building being in the way, that means I can start at this a lot earlier in the day than I originally thought I could, without having to risk sunburn and stuff. So, that's a big plus. Care for a bunny rabbit? Yes, that is a bunny rabbit. Ain't it cute? And that's just a little baby bunny rabbit. Yeah, and this is now actually the second wave of rain, and it's a lot more bigger than I thought. There is blue sky though, if you look closely. Can you see that? and yet it's pouring. I wonder if there's going to be a very pretty rainbow visible somewhere. As you can tell by these kind of almost featureless clouds over here, it's day 3 and it's been very, very rainy with big storm system going by. That was a bird in case you're wondering. And on day 3, thanks to all the rain, I didn't really get too much done. So far I'm almost about to 10 total hours of work at this. Now don't forget about the roughly 5 hours spent doing bushes before, but this is a different case. But so far I'm right there. I've done all this. That's a rock, by the way. And I've continued on all the way over there. That's a lot of progress, don't you think? And when I have bushes like these live ones here, I pluck out dead ones like this here because, well, unless you want to deal with these prickly looking things here, well, I need some kind of tool to dig into them. And the grabber sometimes just really ain't all that suitable for that, because it's kind of hard to see where things are and the like. So I use a dead stick like this one over here, and just kind of shove and move things around as needed. So what's this about this timesheet? Well, that's what this little piece of the video is all about. For this, I use that same program on my phone here, except for one little difference. I play back what I just recorded. 6:29 start. Okay, now that I know that, on here, in case you want to see that, it might be a little hard to see, I'll get it off at a screwy angle. 6:29. That's AM, by the way. Yes, AM instead of PM. Next, back, go to that one, and play it. 10:07 end, minus 15 seconds for penalties. Well, that should have been 15 minutes, but that aside, I said 10:08, minus 15 minutes. What's with this about the penalties? Well, I spent about 10 minutes calling the office to find out where I left off, or where I needed to go. Then I spent another 5 minutes taking a break, for which I generally don't count. And from there, that's pretty much it. So 10:08-15 is 9:53. So that's what I actually write in here. From there, it's just simple math. Of course, there's more to it than just that. Today is June 6th. It's also a Friday. And for this one over here, actual hours worked, this is where I need to do my math here. 53 minus 29 is 24. 9 minus 6, since there's no borrowing needed, is 3. So I got a little over 3 hours. So this was spent cleaning, and for this one it's just pretty much a copy of this. And that pretty much completes that, but there's more to it than just that. Since this is the last day in the pay period, that means I gotta sum up all this and write that down on here and do the finalization and stuff like that. For this, it's just basic math for the most part. 3 plus 7 plus 9 plus 9 plus 7 plus 4, what does all that equal? 10, 19, 28, 35, 39. Carry the 3. This one has to be done a little differently. 3, 6, 9, 10, 15, 17. Mod 6 is 5. And let's see, what was that, 17? Let me verify. 3, 6, 9, 10, 15, 17. Okay. divide by 6, truncate, that's 2. Yeah, I'm carrying a 2. Yeah, that takes a little bit of extra effort, but sometimes I like to verify. 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 13, 16. So that's 1659, just shy of 17. Overtime hours, zilch. Copy that, sign, and I drop it off at the office. Pretty simple, isn't it? This is my biggest ever timesheet total that I've ever had, at this point anyway. There's still more work to be done though. At the end of June 6th, this is where I left off. Just so you know, to give you the basic idea, see this line right here? Now go over here, see this line? That's about 4 feet of distance. Now from what I can tell, from where I need to go, which is way over there, where the end of the major trash heap is, all the way over to way where I started, there are about 136 total feet. At the moment, I currently have all but 44 feet of that done. That is about 3/4 of the way done, just for some simplicity anyway. What's with that big TV set there? That's too heavy for me to lift on my own. And I also ended up finding graffiti, if you can barely make that out way over there. So, from doing all this trash pickup, I happened to find a really useful tool that's much better than that picker-upper that I used to use. How is this useful? Well, how would you like to pick up trash around this creepy looking thing? Look how creepy that is. If the autofocus would work, look at all those thorns. Thorns! They're so scary. So instead of picking up around that and getting poked like crazy, I use this particular tool right here. Really doesn't look like anything special, and I just whack. Yeah, I just did a little bit of HP damage to it, if you want to put it that way. And of course there's also some other dead branches and stuff like that that I'm plucking up as well. Here's a lot of the dead stuff I found. Some of the live stuff I'm leaving alone as is. I'm not trying not to mess with it as much, such as that little greenery over there, and there's no thorny stuff there. I can no trouble picking up stuff there. But you kind of get the idea where I left off. It's very messy there, and it's not really messy over here, unless you count that as a mess. But that's something nature will take care of. Nature will not take care of this too easily. And on June 7, which is what today is, I found these really awesome clouds. It's a really neat waving effect in the clouds. That's a little baby. You can hop along all you want. Barely 4 inches long. So tiny. So cute. So little. So adorable. Just look at it. Hey baby. Believe it or not, I'm only about 4 or 5 feet away from it. And it's getting closer. Hey baby. Aren't you so cute? I'm barely 2 feet away from it. Finding anything interesting? Huh? This bunny rabbit is so close. That's almost amazing. Hi baby. there's the baby again. It's a lot of cuteness packed into one little container. Aren't you such a cutie? What's the matter, Bunny? Huh? Can't figure something out? Huh? Yeah, you can hop around all you want. Day 8, which is June 7, ends right here. As you can tell over here, I've got to the point where these, I'm not sure what they are, but it looks like sidings of a building. That ends up way over to here. I've done all this over here. And that TV set way over there, if you can kind of make that out, is sure getting pretty small now. In case you're wondering, if you look closely here, you can see where the sun is. It's sunny here, it's shade there. Yep, at about 10:30 a.m., which is 9:30 a.m. astronomical time, give or take a little bit, that's pretty much about the realm in which I can effectively do this, without risking sunburn and the like. Which of course means on the opposite end of that, which is 2:30 p.m., I could otherwise have the same conditions on this side. It just makes things a little easier to work with. At the end of the next day, I've been working in an area where there's a whole bunch of trees. At first glance, it don't look like there's really anything special other than a bunch of leaves and stuff like that. Considering over there, you can easily see all the detail. That's been cleaned up, that's been cleaned up. But in there, it don't look like anything special until you get a really close look. Yep, there's a trash piece right there. And underneath that, there's more trash. Underneath that, there's more trash. And then there's more under that. And then there's more under that. This area and these trees right over here really, really looks bad. And then some, it really looks bad. Just to give you the idea on that position. I didn't get too much done for as far as total square foot area, but it's getting rather light in the day, considering I've been going at this for so long. Probably the longest single streak that I've ever done. After all, it's getting a little too high in the sky for that star in the sky that I just gotta love. After a very long run on day 10, which is now June 10, I am now finally finished with this area. But that don't look like it's finished. That's not my property, and thus it is not on my list. The side on the left is Goldmark's property. The side on the right, Scaff. There's a big difference there. I wanted to go at it until I wanted to finish, and then some. Or I just either that, or I just went on until I just couldn't do it anymore. Yep, that even includes all the stuff in the trees. Of course, I could move all these leaves back over. And distribute them a little bit. Looks like I missed something. But that aside, of course there's going to be an odd thing here or there that I missed, or new stuff that's come along. But that's the basic idea. Quite a long run this one was, that's for sure. Time to go fill out the timesheet and inform the boss that I'm now done. I wonder how that's going to be from this point on. And this is where I turn in my timesheet. It's basically the office. With that round of trash pickup extending into another pay period, I needed another timesheet, and thus, that's what this one is. Notice that I got, on that final day, a little over 7.5 hours. I really wanted to get that done as soon as I possibly could. And as for the grand total, 15 more hours. That's a lot of time, don't you think? Of course, this is really small compared to what most of you do. But still, that's 32 total hours added. which is really something when you think about it. Big for me, at least.